Warsaw Pact. Although it's a little bit different, a Warsaw Pact focused around Poland. Originally in our timeline, the Warsaw Pact was set up by the Soviet Union and a lot of the Eastern Bloc. It was founded all the way back in 1955, but its headquarters was in Moscow, Russia. This new pact, however, was founded in 1919, just after the Poles got their independence in World War I. You also see how Germany still has their old imperial borders as well. For a second there, I thought maybe Germany was leading this organization. No, it is Poland, leading member. There it is right there. Yeah, this was literally my first thought as well, to be honest. This was also a geopolitical plan led by Poland after World War I, and it was an idea that they wanted to spread between three seas. In fact, the word itself, intermarium, means between seas. The idea was to stretch from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea to the Adriatic Sea. So essentially, that's exactly what this is too. Grabbing some Baltic lands, most importantly Lithuania, because this concept was pretty much just to reunite the old Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth lands. Then there's the Czech-Slovak Republic, Kingdom of Romania, and finally Kingdom of Yugoslavia. We can't tell exactly if a Soviet Union exists in this universe. It looks like it could still be a Russian Empire possibly, but TBH, even in this like fantasy world, I can't see this alliance lasting that long. They're literally just gonna get smashed from both sides again. I mean, maybe they'd be able to do a little bit more resistance, but I can't imagine that much more. Maybe this was Lithuania's plan the entire time. They are the puppet master after all. I mean, technically they can just do this right now. What's stopping them? I present to you the most cursed thing ever. It's German India, or in other words, German Raj, or I guess they'd call it Deutsch Indian, more Reichland. This is a universe where the 30 Years' War was a gradual turning point. Basically, the German states in the heart of Europe found a way to get a lot more power after that conflict. Then the 7 Years' War after that led to German rule in India after the French forces were defeated. Imagine the over 1.5 billion people here speaking German. I don't even think we can comprehend how much that would change today's world. German would go from the 12th most spoken language to probably #1. Also, English wouldn't be anywhere close to the top. Remember, the vast majority of people on Earth that speak English speak it as a second language. It wasn't the first thing they learned when they were born. So I think a similar situation would happen to Germany here. There'd be a lot of second language speakers. Can you imagine if the skinny mustache man had all of India to pull from? I mean, funny enough, there were a few Indians that decided to fight for the German Reich in the 1940s, but apparently it was only like 3,000. The vast majority fought for the British, obviously. Such a crazy phrase. The German Raj, the crown jewel of the German Reich. Oh god, currywurst! Wait, I actually didn't realize this was already a food. Please end me now. There's nothing more terrifying. What if it was Portugal that ended up forming Spain? In our world, it was the Kingdom of Castile and the Kingdom of Aragon that came together to form Spain, but in this one, it's gonna be Castile and then Portugal, their neighbors to the west? First of all, this would completely change the dynamic of the Iberian Peninsula. Also, Aragon will still remain, but they're kind of trapped inside the Mediterranean. This would certainly be one mega colonial powerhouse, but the languages would just be all over the place. I guess it's mostly Portuguese with some other recognized languages as well. Population still only 45 million, but that's because they lost all their colonies. Remember that in our timeline, there was a full Iberian Union moment where Spain, after coming together with Aragon, after Castile and Aragon came together to form Spain, then Spain and Portugal come together for a couple of decades, and this is the colonial holdings they had control over. This is a random side note, but it's really incredible that Portugal managed to remain independent after so many centuries. I would think a universe where a nation is located here would be able to remain independent a lot easier because you have possibly a French ally. There's the Italian Peninsula a little further out east. Portugal was basically just an island to themselves. They only had one giant neighbor, and yet they managed to stay free the whole time. Well, I mean, after the Iberian Union, but yeah. Maybe the exact opposite would happen in this universe. Maybe an Aragon located on this side of the peninsula would actually die a lot faster, in fact, because they have more possible enemies. Geography now with the Spains. That is quite the cursed Spanish geography map there. Also, absolutely horrific flag. An independent crown of Aragon is always a massive dub, my favorite alt history scenario. Since this alt history country only speaks Portuguese, they'd probably only export Portuguese, which means like there'd be like a billion Portuguese speakers. Or almost that anyways. Absolutely insane. What if the COVID pandemic was just slightly worse? How slight are we talking? Oh, we're talking zombie-infested territory and also enforced quarantine zones. There's 17 fallen countries, so it's still stemming from Wuhan, which means it would end up hitting this part of the globe first. Now, there still are human-controlled territory, obviously, but for how much longer, I don't know. Can these zombies swim? How are they getting across the sea? And look at this massive encirclement the zombies have over the Indians. Now, there's still some cities that survive in Asia. The Yellow Skulls represent partially infested cities. Right now, the island of Taiwan's doing okay, but the Philippines doesn't have much longer left, it appears. Neither does Australia. They are getting invaded. Maybe Perth will be okay. They already got Java, so Indonesia's probably going down soon. Oh, poor Singapore. That would be insane right there. Africa will be probably next, and they'll slowly stretch over. Oh, I think they might be in Kazakhstan, so they're definitely stretching over into continental Europe. Oh, are they the Minecraft zombies, to be exact? Is that what this universe's COVID does? does. You know, I'm no economist, but this might have some consequences on this year's shrimp harvest. Those zombies in Northern Australia won't be getting too far. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. There's kind of a giant desert here. They're just gonna be wandering around aimlessly in the outback. Absolutely love how Taiwan was just chilling in the scenario, having a blast. Man, that was ever so slightly, wasn't it? What if federalism actually peaked during the Cold War? Federalism is a system of government in which the same territory is controlled by two levels of government, basically power divided between federal and states, at least using the US for an example. So we have an EU, or quite possibly just a single nation European Union. Now that's not all the members of the EU currently in the modern day. This is a map of Europe back in 1999, but not our 1999, because obviously East and West Germany are still split up. There's some new nations up inside of here. There's also the Alpine Union. Oh, finally, between Switzerland, Austria, and a little old Liechtenstein. Look at that flag they're rocking. There's the Republic of Czechoslovakia. Somehow they're still around. That's a thick Poland. A United Kingdom of Scandinavia. This flag is looking awfully like, what is that, Costa Rica? Well, a Costa Rica that was in the style of a Nordic flag. Now, it's just a Kingdom of Scandinavia, which means Finland is not included. The Soviet Union has turned into the Union of Sovereign Republics, or the USSR. I really wish I knew what was behind that eye. So, of course, just like in the Soviet Union, there's a different, like, state for Ukraine and Belarus. There's still Russia and the Caucasus Mountain regions, and there's so many federations here. The Arab one, too. But one thing is always consistent in every universe: Yugoslavia always falls apart. And it's probably absolute chaos, too. Spain is here, as well as Portugal. They've got a very different flag. That's a cool Portuguese flag. Oh, is that a republic in Spain? It is, because they got the purple strip down here. I don't know how Ireland must be feeling right now. Absolutely beautiful map. Really liked this. Basically, to summarize this map, it's Europe, but more united. Even Scandinavia. Oh, that would have been way better. The Dominican Republic, not Costa Rica flag. Federalism peaked. Yugoslavia is still broken. They just can't win, huh? It's kind of funny to see the countries that weren't more united, like the UK and Ireland. I like that, though, because that would just be really unrealistic. What if Germany became so freaked up, it just became a building with 126 people living in it? This is known as the Administrative Republic of the Reichstag, with a very depressed Merkel here. So because the nation of Germany has been cut down to just a single building, well, I guess they decided to put that on their flag, because that's really all their territory. And specifically, it is the Reichstag, which is a very famous building inside of Germany. It's very famous for its very different looks throughout history. Here's obviously a very notable one. So population, 126 people. Woo! That's crazy, yo. This is such a big country. Official language, German. Date founded 3rd of October 1947. Oh, so this happened after World War II. They decided to heavily punish Germany, and it wasn't even funny. Wait, so is this a world where the Soviet Union got all of Germany? A lot of it, I mean, they got a lot of it, but the Allies got some of it. Population 96%, but there are 4% of Polish people, which means there'd be like 5 Polish dudes walking around the building. There's a joke to be made here, but I'm not gonna make it. I'm not that brave. 100% Catholic, though. Oh, all the territory they're in is Poland. You know, we do have an oil platform that some consider to be a country at this point. I don't see why a single building can't be a country. The Principality of Sealand is considered to be its own sovereign state, although no one recognizes it just yet. Just give them a little bit more time. You gotta love the name there. I guess we should have expected that. Polish controlled zones? It won't even let them have their building. This is a whole new level of revenge. Also in this timeline, Poland has nuclear bombs, and in 2025, they will explode the Reichstag. Germany is no more. Wake up, babe. Vatican II just dropped. OP, what happened to the other 84 million Germans? Do we want to know? Talk about a high-quality poop post. As always, big thanks to my patrons. Month 2 in Drew's basement. Drew's Argentinian Grandpa. DOOCHBAGGINS. I can't sleep. Kansas was mentioned.
Amateur Archaeology.
aPhatNarwhal.
Carmel
Fredrik Tibblin. KingBearHaze.
KirinoIsBestGirl.
LuxembourgLover.
Tyrol.
Tambre.
Mexican 760.
ZaneyBoi. Like your name here, check that link to Patreon down below.